in my new creation, the Mimosa Mayhem match.
Ho, ho, ho. I love it. Mimosa Mayhem match.
Yo, YouTube, what is up? Radar25 back in, my co-host, Michael Funtamania.
What up, Mox?
Guys, we're back. We had a special Saturday episode of AEW Dynamite due to the NBA playoffs moving it from Wednesday to Saturday. And the NBA game ran late, so some of you guys got your stuff cut off if you DVR'd it. But if you use the TNT app, you're able to finish watching the whole thing. So if you didn't see the whole show, check that out. Also, watch this recap show. We got 3 takeaways for you. Very interesting show. They had the finals for the Women's Tag Team Cup, which is, I don't know, we're going to shit on it a little bit, so just be prepared for that. We had TNT Championship match. We had the return of Brian Cage and Ricky Starks. We had some interesting developments with FTR and a new manager of theirs. So we got a lot of stuff going on for this special Saturday episode of AEW Dynamite with All Out a couple weeks away. Special match set up next week as well for to determine who's going to face who's going to face a Hangman and Omega for the tag team titles at All Out. So we got a lot to get into. Let's get into it. Before we do it, I want you guys to drop a like on this video and previous videos that have dropped. Hit the subscribe button if you're watching this video and you're not subscribed to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you guys are alerted when new videos drop, live streams, stuff like that. Follow me Instagram, Twitter, the Twitch for the live streams. All that pop on your screen also be in the description below. Also hit us up on Discord. That's in the description below as well. The link to Discord. Sub channel Wrestling Marks United. Talk to us about wrestling. Talk to us about whatever you guys want. Wrestling related, nostalgic, or current product. Without further ado, guys, jump right into the video. 3 takeaways from the special Saturday edition of AEW Dynamite. And AEW Dynamite started off with Private Party versus FTR with their new manager, Tully Blanchard.
The original Bray Buster.
Yeah, super interesting. He had like one of those, those Letterman jackets.
Varsity jackets,
yeah. Also, varsity jackets on. The match was fun. Private Party's improving. Some of the stuff still kind of looks kind of odd, but Mark Quinn seems to be the better of the two.
I don't know, man.
Cassidy.
Their gear is like just not doing it for me. Like they lay your shit in. There's a lot of holes in their work. Like it's just a lot of stuff looks like it's all just too choreographed. That like nothing looks like it hurts. Like they kicked him on top of his head. It just like it didn't look like it hurt. It's just like, come on, man.
Some of the stuff looks kind of soft here and there. Yeah, they got to really tighten that stuff up to be taken more seriously. But they're being pushed, and everybody says they're the tag team of the future in AEW, which is totally reasonable. But I think for us, they just got to clean some certain things up and get a little bit tighter with their stuff.
All.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Guys, this is takeaway number 1, and it isn't the match per se. FTR gets the win. It's the fact that Tully Blanchard now, I guess he's leaving Shawn Spears, and now it's part of FTR, or maybe they do a stable. I don't know. Shawn Spears seems to be like thrown to the wayside. Really never got a true push. Got the whole chairman gimmick, and then Tully with him, and the whole weighted glove. That was absolutely nothing because we never really saw it. It was absolutely terrible. I don't know what AEW's thinking on some of these things. I think they're just kind of like, I don't know. People criticize Vince McMahon a lot about how he changes the shows last minute, but I feel like AEW is kind of doing the same thing. Yeah, maybe it's the pandemic situation or whatever, but they're just like, they need to get a second show or figure something else out because they could develop some stuff and they kind of just throw it out the window like a couple weeks later and never use it.
Yeah, I feel the same way. It's like, maybe you don't need a second show. Maybe you just gotta cut the roster a little bit, or just continue with the groups, but just kind of fluctuate guys in and out every week. So you see like a fresh kind of show every week with different groups and different guys. That way everybody gets a shot. Because I feel bad. How many gimmicks has he had? The company hasn't even been around for a year yet. So you know what I'm saying? He's like 3 different gimmicks. So hopefully they give Shawn Spears a break, or maybe he's just part of a stable. Like Tully's got his own stable now. You know how Arn has the Nightmare Family. Maybe this is his thing. And to start with the weighted glove and FTR, they got that old school NWA feel. So who knows? Maybe they'll start going with that Crockett feel. Have a group that way, old school bruisers. That'd be fun. But we'll see where this goes. Again, there still hasn't officially been said that Shawn Spears is not with Tully. It could still happen. But yeah, like you said, just there's a lot of continuity issues and a lot of like just changing things on the fly, which is gonna happen. But a lot of these guys live in Florida and their shows are in Florida, or they live in like the Atlanta area, so it's not super far from Jacksonville. But Tony Khan isn't perfect, and the elite guys aren't perfect at booking. Booking's not an imperfect system, so you can't give people shit when we give Vince or Triple H shit. It just is it is what it is. Some shit works, some shit doesn't.
Yeah, some of the shit works, some of the shit doesn't. Back to FTR, now they have Tully Blanchard helping them out. trying to legitimize them as like, contenders, which there was no need for it. We all knew they were contenders to begin with, but it helps out that they got another guy to help them out, and it fits their style because Tully style and Arn style similar to theirs.
It's impressive by FTR. They were able to prevent Private Party from doing some of their signature tag team stuff. But the big news is Tully Blanchard.
So there's a lot going on there. Also, later on, they would try to manipulate Hangman Page due to the fact that next week there's gonna be a tag team gauntlet match to see who faces Hangman and Omega for the tag team titles at All Out. Obviously, we think FTR or the Bucks is gonna win one of the, that gauntlet. And they were trying to get Hangman to kind of turn his back to the Bucks again. Remember, Hangman last week was upset with FTR because they dropped down. They did the spike pile driver on Ricky Morton. Of the Rock and Roll Express. So that was an issue there. They kind of mended the fences a little bit, trying to manipulate Hangman Adam Page to turn his back up against the Young Bucks.
Good luck to us. Good luck to all of us. Yeah.
Fear the revelation.
Because if the Young Bucks end up winning the tag team titles, he'll be put back in the shadow of the Young Bucks. That's been his biggest issue with the Elite this entire time, is the fact that he's kind of felt like a background guy to the Elite. So more of that going on here, but excited to see this tag team gauntlet that will happen next week. I really want to see if it's the Bucks or FTR that gets a chance. And it thinks about time. Most likely one of these two teams will be Hangman and Omega, because those guys have been running for the tag team titles for a long time. So we'll see what happens with that. But FTR, a lot of momentum behind them with the addition of Tully Blanchard. Interesting to see what will happen with Shawn Spears. But guys, that's takeaway number 1 of the night. The next thing on the show was Jurassic Express, along with the Natural Nightmares, Dustin Rhodes and QT Marshall versus Butcher Blade, Lucha Bros. Match, fine. A lot of big spots. This is what it is, right?
Typical multi-man AEW match.
Typical.
Accustomed to see maybe twice a Dynamite.
Exactly, yeah. Jurassic Express and Natural Nightmares get the win. There was a lot of issues between Lucha Bros and Butcher and Blade, and they started pushing and shoving towards the end of the match. Then randomly Eddie Kingston comes out and kind of just like manipulates them, it seems, because he did like a nice little smile and wink to the camera while they were all hugging to get them together. I don't know if that's a new faction they're creating. I don't know, but it's just a bunch of heels together. Yeah. I mean, the Triangle of Death is no longer a thing because Pac hasn't been on the show for forever, so I guess they're going to throw that away.
Is Pac even part of the company? I mean, we haven't seen him since like March or February.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what's going on with that, but we'll see what ends up happening with Pac and the Death Triangle. But now it looks like there's a new faction forming, Eddie Kingston at the helm with Lucha Bros and Butcher and Blade. I'm not super excited about it, but let's see what happens. Interesting thing later on was between MJF and John Moxley. They both cut promos. MJF, he had a lawyer with him talking about the injuries he sustained from the Paradigm Shift the prior week from John Moxley. He had the neck brace on, talking about he wants to ban the move from their match at All Out. And, if John Moxley does not agree to that, they will sue the shit out of him.
John, I'll sue your ass so hard you'll have to part your hair to poop. Don't test me. Don't test my law firm. We've never lost.
So interesting to see how Moxley will go on from here. He'll probably accept and use something else different to beat MJF or just straight out lose the match.
Good shit heel work by MJF again, continuing it. That whole faking an injury stuff and having the lawyer thing, I thought that was great. I thought that was hilarious. And the girl with the smile, she just did not break character the whole time.
She's just still there smiling. It's just super uncomfortable.
The whole time, super uncomfortable. But I mean, I'm liking it so far, especially where it's going. It's fun. The champ can't use his finisher, so that adds that whole other heel bullshit to it. So I'm enjoying this.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Sad to see how the match turns out and who comes out on top of that match. Next thing on the show is takeaway number 2 of the night. Tony Schiavone's in the ring. He brings out Orange Cassidy. Obviously, Orange Cassidy doesn't say anything. Chris Jericho interrupts. He comes out. He seems like he's a little tipsy, drinking a little bit of the bubbly. He comes out and challenges Orange Cassidy to a third rubber match in the series. They're tied 1-1 each. The rubber match coming up at All Out, and it will be a Mimosa Mayhem match. Now, obviously, Mimosa, it's a play on the fact that he's Orange Cassidy, so orange juice, and he's a little bit of the bubbly with champagne. So you put those two together, you get a mimosa. That'd be the play. Supposedly, there's like a big tub of they may dunk somebody
of mimosa,
of mimosas and orange juice and all this stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff going on. It sounds stupid, it sounds campy, but I give the benefit of the doubt to Chris Jericho because he is one of the greatest of all times, and he's gotten so many things that sound stupid and ridiculous over. And he himself has
just made the list.
Yeah, he has surprised himself in the way he's gotten everything he's done over. So I wouldn't put it past him to get this ridiculous concept over. But it would be interesting to see if they even like show more or less how the match will go, next week or the week after before All Out, or we have to wait and see to All Out to actually see how this match is going to work, what it's going to look like, and all that stuff like that. But shout out to Chris Jericho. I mean, he'll probably make it work. He probably will.
I mean, he got it over, so the word "it" he got that over, so he can probably get anything over. So it'll probably be fun. It sounds stupid as shit, but I'm sure it's going to be fun and maybe a good time. It'll probably steal the show because it's Chris Jericho.
It probably will, but yeah, I don't know if we needed the third match between these two.
I mean,
we're gonna get it,
Yeah, I mean, why not? Why not? I think it's fun. I think it's been a fun little feud. I thought it was over, but you had a third match. I mean, why not? Keep it going. It's like it's been anything other than entertaining. So keep it going.
I mean, they had the 2 regular matches. Now they're gonna have a gimmick match to finish off the feud.
Yeah.
It makes sense. I mean, they could have go with a cage or something simple like that, but they want to do a real big gimmick to it. That plays into both guys. Shticks with the bubbly and with the freshly squeezed. So we'll see what happens with that afterwards. They came to the ring. Inner Circle came out. They all had bottles of champagne. They were going to toast Orange Cassidy for his win. Obviously, it was a ruse. They came in. They beat the living hell out of both the Best Friends and Orange Cassidy.
Here's to ya. Get him, boys.
Get him, boys. Oh, buddy. Tony, get out of there.
And they poured a ton of champagne in his face, which obviously burns the eyes and, all that. So they stood atop Orange Cassidy there. Interesting to see who will win that match. So who wins out the feud? I'm not sure who it's going to be. Chris Jericho doesn't really need to win anything because he's Chris Jericho. But I don't know if he gave a shot in the arm to Orange Cassidy there, because what do you do with Orange Cassidy after this feud? You know what I'm saying? Does he go back to what he's doing before? Is he more of a serious competitor? Is he a title contender after that? We have to see what happens with Orange Cassidy after that. But, guys, that's takeaway number 2. The next thing on the show, the Elite versus the Dark Order, another 6-man tag. The Elite beat the Dark Order. Good showing about the Dark Order members that were in this match. Not much else to write home about here. I mean, I kind of feel like, the Dark Order needs to win a little bit more, right? They're such a big group and they lose all the time.
That's been the whole thing the entire time. It's just that they never felt like a threat.
Yeah.
Brodie Lee got there, and for the first month
they feel like a bunch
threat.
of punching bags, yeah.
Yeah, but then they were just like, there's Dark Order and this cult group, but they don't win shit. So hopefully, we'll see later on, I guess.
We'll see later on. Yeah, the Elite obviously got the win here, like we're saying, but we want to see the Dark Order be a little bit more dominant because they are such a massive group. They're huge. They got like 20 members. It feels like
it's like NWO 1999. Everybody's like 1 million people.
They got a ton of members, so I'd like to see them do a little bit more. Next thing on the show, Darby Allin versus Will Hobbs. Darby Allin gets the win here. Hobbs got a lot of offense in. Interesting thing, what happens after the match? You have Taz get on the mic from the commentary table, and then bring out Ricky Starks, who's dressed up as Darby Allin. And then we have Brian Cage attack Darby Allin from behind with the FTW Championship belt.
Uh-oh. Look out. Uh-oh. Oh, Brian Cage from behind.
Oh, it's weird. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Ricky Starks. But
people say he's gonna be a star,
especially the teaming between him and Cage. Maybe it's just the team between him and Cage, right? It doesn't really work for me. But it's weird to see Cage take the back seat to Ricky Starks, and Cage was in the title picture 2 months ago. Very odd. He still has the FTW Championship, which obviously means absolutely nothing at this point. It's really weird. It's super strange, and why it is, I don't know. But AEW does this. They hot shot somebody and then they kind of just send them all the way back. Look at Brian Cage here, Lance Archer. You have Brodie Lee, who took a backseat after losing to John Moxley, which we'll see later on. They did the right thing though at that point last night. We'll get to that later on. Next thing in the show, the Tag Team Women's Cup Tournament Finals. It's the Nightmare Sisters, Brandon Alley versus Diamante and Eva Lise. The match was what it was. Like most of the women's tag team matches have been what they are, serviceable, nothing super special. The whole thing has been a kind of it kind of like they were trying to make it seem like they really tried to push women's wrestling in AEW, but all this entire tournament was on YouTube only. None of it was on Dynamite, which makes it pointless because really not that many people are tuning in to the YouTube channel. They're tuning into the YouTube channel a lot less than they are Dynamite Weekly. Yeah. So.
And you could have just made it like every Dynamite. You could have prolonged this for like a month or two. Just every time, every Dynamite there was a match, one match.
You could have prolonged it for All Out, the final.
Yes, exactly. Made it more special at All Out. They could have done such a better job with it. They really didn't promote it that well, and it just felt like it was Brandy just doing. Hey, the women need to have something. Okay, here's your thing. Go do it. And then it was her and Miss Bunny Lady, but Nightmare Bunny, whatever what she calling what they call her these days. But it's just like it was to get them over and to make them interesting. At the end of the day, are Ivelisse and Diamante going to, is there going to be a women's tag team division now? Is there going to be, are they going to get a push? They don't get a push because then who comes later on to just come to the show? So I don't know. It was very weird. Just not.
Yeah, it didn't work. Now the right team won this match. Ivelisse and Diamante won the cup. Yeah. The right team, but it never felt special. Nothing felt important about this tournament whatsoever. They did a really bad job promoting it. The way they showcased it was really terribly done. And Brandy and Ali shouldn't have been in the final. It should have been Diamante and Ivelisse versus like maybe Anna Jay and Tay Conti or something like that. A better team, a more accomplished,
like in-ring accomplishment. Like they're just like but both girls are okay. They're in nothing special. Yeah. And again, it's just like it. I don't know. It just didn't flow well. It didn't feel right. It just felt forced. They just forced this thing, to make it happen, and it's not working. Like the women's division is kind of a mess right now. Ever since Britt Baker went down, it's been a bit of a mess. Yeah,
you need to have more of these women showcased if you're going to make the division mean something, and this wasn't the way to do it. No. This was a terrible, not the idea was terrible, the way it was executed was really bad. And it was just bad. But the right team won. Ivelisse and Diamante are both very skilled in-ring performers, so that's the right team that should have won. They win it, but even that didn't feel important. Nothing about this entire thing felt important.
Okay, and I mean, we'll see where they go from there, but are they going to be a tag team? I doubt it, because there's no women's tag team division. So what the hell's the point of this all? Yeah. At the end of the day.
We'll see what happens. After the match, we saw Thunder Rosa, the NWA Women's Champion, talk about how she's going to take on Sheeta at All Out. So that should
Vengo por el campeonato. I am here for this championship and nothing else.
Be pretty interesting. Interesting that it took somebody outside the company to take on
and
Sheeta.
The NWA title on AEW television. So that's
pretty interesting. Interesting thing to see.
But again, also just a woman coming from nowhere and just getting an automatic title shot, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. They should be building from within, but it is what it is. They don't really know what to do with the women's division, AEW. Next thing on the show, final thing, takeaway number 3 of the night, and it was the TNT Championship match. You had Brodie Lee, the challenger, El Señor Brodie Lee versus the champion, the American Nightmare, the Prince of Pro Wrestling, what he's called now, Cody, not Rhodes. This match, similar to when Brock Lesnar destroyed John Cena at SummerSlam all those years back, and Brock Lesnar went on his ridiculous run that he went on, his Hall of Fame run.
Where he hijacked the championship belt.
And destroyed everybody. This is what happened. Cody literally had no offense whatsoever. He got a couple punches in the beginning of the match, and it was a wrap for Cody from there on. Brodie Lee absolutely obliterated Cody Rhodes. Now,
down the side, he's still inside out, upside down. He did it! Are you kidding me? Whoa! Are you kidding me?
This match had no build-up. It was set up a week out of nowhere, and it just kind of happened. So the match had no hype behind it, right?
Yep.
But Brodie Lee came into the company dominant. They gave him a title shot immediately. He lost. He kind of went to the back burner, like a lot of the other guys that they've pushed really quickly. But they did the right thing here and having Brodie Lee absolutely come back and destroy their, arguably their biggest guy on the roster,
I think Cody. He is the biggest guy on the roster.
Yes, so they had him absolutely obliterate him to show how dominant he is. He's the new TNT champion. He dropped Cody with this clothesline to win the match after destroying him. Cody laid motionless on the ground, seemingly with a neck injury. They brought up the stretcher. They put the neck brace on him. They dragged him out on the stretcher. Then the Dark Order comes out, celebrates with Cody, and then they destroy Cody once again on the stretcher. They beat up Arn Anderson. They beat up QT Marshall, Dustin Rhodes.
On swinging, put on! Oh, they go down without a fight! Wait a minute! This Arn Anderson being physically abused. Oh my God!
Brandy comes out to cover her husband to try to stop the beat down, but Dark Order has a female member. Anna Jay comes, chokes Brandy out.
Wait a minute.
Well, that's Anna Jay of the Dark Order.
Anna Jay!
Oh, God, she's got a rear naked choke. A choke on her.
On Brandy!
And then they stand tall. Brodie hits Cody in the face with a black bag stuffed with stuff, and you find out the black bag has the old TNT championship chopped up, thrown on the ground. So very, very good stuff. This is the way that they should build him, and how they should have done this, because, like I said, Brodie lost the title match against Jon Moxley at Double or Nothing. He kind of fell on the back burner, and they bring him back in and really, really show him out. So this was smart. It helps because, remember, if you would have lost this match, he's the leader of the Dark Order. He's not really leading by example because he's losing. He's not winning any titles, and he's not prominent on the show. So the whole faction itself kind of falls apart at that point. So it was the right, smart move, right thing to do. Have Brodie absolutely demolish Cody and become TNT champion.
Cody did what he had to do with the TNT belt. He had to win it. He had to make it prestigious. That's what he did. He was a fighting champ. That's what he had to do. The whole point of Cody having it was to build this title up and make it important so he can give it to someone that needs it. Brodie Lee needed it. The Dark Order needs it. Brodie Lee destroying him and completely embarrassing Cody Rhodes was the right way to do it, because now Brodie Lee is more mythical, more of a monster, more what he needs to be, and just more of an unstoppable force. Also bringing the Dark Order with him as this unstoppable force that can take over AEW, and you can create all this awesome storylines and create, more interest in the group that has been floundering since the day it came in. Ever since that guy was seen with those weak punches that weren't even hitting the guy's face, they've been a joke. So hopefully now this brings them into where they need to be, a top group in AEW. And Brodie Lee as TNT champ, this is what he's always needed to be in WWE. When he was IC champ, they didn't do it right. Hopefully AEW does it right with him as TNT champ.
Yeah, super smart decision by AEW here. Super good booking on their part, and shout out to Cody for taking the big squash match. But guys, that's our video. That's our 3 takeaways from AEW Dynamite. Thank you guys for watching. Remember, if it doesn't work for you, brother, do not do the job.
Later, Marks.